Tiny kitten tries to buy fish with a stick. What happens next will melt your heart. The dawn painted the sky with hues of rose and gold, casting a gentle glow over the quaint village of Willow Creek. Nestled amidst a patchwork of blooming gardens and charming cottages, a tiny black kitten named Whiskers stretched and yawned, his emerald eyes fluttering open to greet the new day. With a coat as dark as a moonless night and a playful spirit that could charm the birds from the trees, Whiskers was the picture of feline curiosity. He spent his days exploring the sun-dappled corners of the village, chasing butterflies with gleeful abandon, and napping in patches of warm sunlight that filtered through the leaves. But this morning, a familiar pang of hunger gnawed at his tummy, a craving for his favorite delicacy, fish. He remembered the exquisite taste, the delicate flakes melting in his mouth like a savory dream. Whiskers knew just the place to satisfy his hunger, the bustling village market, where Mr. Bumble, a kind-hearted shopkeeper with a twinkle in his eye and a smile as warm as a summer's day, ran a fish stall overflowing with the freshest catch. Mr. Bumble, with his booming laugh and generous spirit, was a favorite amongst the villagers, and Whiskers held a special fondness for the man who always had a kind word and a gentle scratch behind the ears for the little kitten. But there was a tiny obstacle standing between Whiskers and his fishy desire. He had no money. He scampered around his usual hiding spots, his little nose twitching with anticipation. He checked behind the ancient oak tree, where a forgotten coin sometimes lay hidden amongst the fallen leaves, a relic of a passerby's forgetfulness. He peered under the chipped flower pot, where his mother, a beautiful calico cat with a gentle purr and a heart of gold, often tucked away a spare penny or two, a secret stash for a rainy day. He even ventured into the hollow log, his usual treasure trove, its dark interior promising hidden riches. But alas, it was empty. Dejected, Whiskers was about to abandon his quest when his eyes fell upon a small, smooth stick lying on the ground. It was the perfect size, about the length of his paw and as thick as his tail, with a warm, earthy scent. An idea, as bright as the morning sun, sparked in his clever little mind. "This," he declared, his voice a determined meow, "will be my coin." He picked up the stick with his teeth, the smooth texture cool against his tongue. It wasn't a real coin, of course, but in Whiskers' imaginative world, it held more value than any gold or silver. It was a symbol of his resourcefulness, his unwavering resolve to obtain that delicious fish. With his makeshift coin clutched firmly in his mouth, Whiskers set off towards the village market, his tiny paws carrying him with a newfound purpose. The journey was long for his little legs, the cobblestone path rough beneath his paws. The sun beat down, warming the air with the promise of a hot summer's day. But Whiskers pressed on, undeterred, his tummy rumbling with anticipation. He imagined the taste of the fish, the way it would satisfy his hunger and fill him with a purring contentment. As he approached the village square, the vibrant tapestry of the market unfolded before him. The air was alive with the cheerful chatter of villagers, the melodic calls of vendors hawking their wares, and the enticing aromas of fresh produce, sweet pastries, and blooming flowers. Whiskers, undeterred by the bustling crowd, navigated his way through the maze of legs, his eyes fixed on Mr. Bumble's fish stall, a beacon of hope in the sea of humanity. Mr. Bumble, his rosy face beaming with good cheer, was busy serving a customer, a plump woman with a basket overflowing with vegetables and a smile as bright as the sunflowers peeking from her basket. Whiskers patiently waited his turn, his tail twitching with excitement. He watched as Mr. Bumble expertly weighed the fish, his hands moving with the practiced ease of a master fishmonger, selecting the finest specimens for his discerning customers. The sight of the glistening fish, their scales shimmering like iridescent jewels, made Whiskers' mouth water. Finally, the customer departed, and Whiskers, with a surge of bravery that belied his small size, hopped onto the stall. He stood on his hind legs, his front paws resting on the counter, and proudly presented his wooden coin. "Meow," he announced, his voice a soft but determined meow. "I would like to buy a fish, please." Mr. Bumble, startled by the sight of the tiny customer, peered down at Whiskers, his eyebrows raised in surprise. A chuckle rumbled in his chest as he took in the sight of the stick, a wave of warmth spreading through him. "Well now, what's this?" he boomed, his voice full of amusement. "A wooden coin? I've never seen one of those before. Where did you get this, young man?" Whiskers, his emerald eyes wide with earnestness, explained that he had no money but was very hungry. He described his fruitless search for coins, his disappointment at finding his usual hiding spots empty, and the sudden inspiration that struck him upon discovering the stick. He looked up at Mr. Bumble with such pleading eyes that the shopkeeper's heart melted like butter in the summer sun. "Well, I can't say no to a customer as determined as you," Mr. Bumble declared, his eyes twinkling with kindness. He carefully selected the plumpest, juiciest fish he could find, one with scales that shimmered like a rainbow and a plumpness that promised a satisfying meal. He presented it to Whiskers with a flourish, a gesture that spoke volumes of his generosity. Overjoyed, Whiskers thanked Mr. Bumble profusely, his purrs rumbling like a miniature engine. He carefully picked up the fish, its tail dangling from his mouth, and turned to leave, his heart overflowing with gratitude. But just as he was about to hop off the stall, Mr. Bumble stopped him. "Wait a minute, young man," he called out, his voice gentle. Whiskers turned back, his head tilted in curiosity. Mr. Bumble reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, shiny coin, its surface gleaming in the sunlight. "Here you go," he said, placing the coin next to Whiskers. "For another day, and perhaps," he added with a wink, "you could find a real coin next time." Whiskers, overwhelmed by the shopkeeper's kindness, nudged the coin with his nose as a gesture of thanks. He then scampered off, the fish held tightly in his mouth, his heart brimming with joy. He couldn't wait to enjoy his delicious fish and tell his mother all about his adventure at the market and the kind Mr. Bumble. But this was just the beginning of Whiskers' story. His encounter with Mr. Bumble was only the first chapter in a tale that would weave its way into the hearts of everyone in Willow Creek and beyond. Whiskers, his prize clutched triumphantly in his mouth, practically danced his way back home. He navigated the bustling village, a blur of black fur weaving through the maze of legs and baskets. The enticing aroma of freshly baked bread wafted from the bakery, tempting him with its warm, yeasty scent. Colorful blooms spilled from the flower stalls, their vibrant hues a feast for the eyes. The lively tavern buzzed with the laughter and chatter of villagers, their voices mingling with the clinking of mugs and the cheerful strumming of a lute. But Whiskers was oblivious to all the distractions. His senses focused solely on the delicious feast that awaited him. He envisioned his mother's surprise, her gentle purr of approval, and the shared joy of savoring the fresh fish together. He finally reached his cozy cottage, nestled under the protective embrace of a grandfather willow tree, its branches drooping like a verdant curtain. His mother, a vision of calico elegance, was dozing peacefully on the windowsill, bathed in the warm afternoon sunlight. "Mother, Mother," Whiskers cried, dropping the fish at her paws with a flourish. "Look what I have." His mother awoke with a start, her amber eyes widening in surprise at the sight of the plump fish lying at her feet. "Whiskers, where did you get this?" she exclaimed, her voice a mixture of astonishment and concern. Whiskers, his chest puffed with pride, recounted his grand adventure to the market, describing his ingenious idea to use a stick as currency and Mr. Bumble's unexpected kindness. He even proudly displayed the shiny coin the shopkeeper had bestowed upon him, a symbol of his success. His mother listened intently, her heart swelling with a mixture of pride and apprehension. She was immensely proud of her son's resourcefulness and quick wit, his ability to turn a simple stick into a ticket to a delicious meal. She was touched by Mr. Bumble's generosity, his willingness to see beyond the unconventional and recognize the genuine hunger in a kitten's eyes. But she also couldn't help but worry about the dangers Whiskers had faced venturing into the bustling market alone, a tiny creature amidst a sea of towering legs and rumbling carts. "Oh, Whiskers," she said, nuzzling him gently, her soft fur brushing against his. "You were very brave, but the market is no place for a small kitten alone. It's full of dangers, fast-moving carts, noisy crowds, and even grumpy dogs with booming barks. Whiskers, his ears drooping slightly, realized the truth in his mother's words. He had been so consumed by his quest for fish that he hadn't considered the potential perils. He promised his mother that he would never again venture to the market alone, his heart filled with remorse for causing her worry. Relieved, his mother helped him prepare the fish. They shared the delicious meal, savoring each bite with purring contentment, the sweet taste of success mingling with the joy of togetherness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with fiery hues of orange and purple, Whiskers curled up beside his mother, his tummy full and his heart content. But the story of the kitten who bought a fish with a stick had already begun to spread its wings, carried by the whispers of the wind and the chatter of the village inhabitants. News traveled fast in Willow Creek, carried by gossiping sparrows flitting from rooftop to rooftop, chatty squirrels scampering through the trees, and the friendly exchanges of villagers gathering at the well or the bakery. Soon, everyone had heard of Whiskers' daring adventure and Mr. Bumble's compassionate gesture. The next morning, as Mr. Bumble opened his fish stall, arranging his glistening wares on a bed of sparkling ice, he was surprised to find a small crowd gathered around, their faces alight with curiosity and admiration. They were all eager to hear the tale of the kitten with the wooden coin, the story that had captured the imagination of the village. Mr. Bumble, with a twinkle in his eye and a smile that could melt the hardest heart, happily recounted the tale, his voice booming with laughter as he described the kitten's earnest expression and the determined glint in his emerald eyes. The villagers were charmed by the story. They praised Whiskers' ingenuity and Mr. Bumble's generosity, their voices a chorus of approval. Some even brought small gifts for Whiskers, a ball of yarn as soft as a cloud, a toy mouse that squeaked with delightful realism, and even a few shiny coins, a testament to their admiration for the resourceful kitten. Whiskers, overwhelmed by the unexpected attention, shyly accepted the gifts, his heart warmed by the kindness of the villagers. He realized that his little adventure had not only satisfied his hunger but had also touched the hearts of the community, bringing smiles to their faces and a spark of joy to their day. He felt a warm glow of happiness, knowing that he had brought a little bit of magic to his world. But the story didn't end there. Whiskers' adventure was about to take an unexpected turn, a twist of fate that would lead him on a new path, a path paved with friendship, adventure, and the enduring power of stories. The days that followed were bathed in sunshine and brimming with excitement for Whiskers. He had become a local celebrity, a furry legend whose tale had captured the hearts and imaginations of the villagers. Children, their eyes wide with admiration, would stop him on the cobblestone streets to pet his soft fur and offer him treats, a juicy worm, a crunchy beetle, or a tempting morsel of cheese. The baker, a plump woman with flour-dusted cheeks and a heart as warm as her ovens, would slip him extra catnip biscuits, their aroma intoxicatingly delightful. Even the grumpy old blacksmith, a man known for his gruff demeanor and soot-stained hands, would offer a friendly nod and a scratch behind the ears, a rare display of affection from the usually stoic craftsman. Whiskers basked in the attention, enjoying his newfound fame with the innocent delight of a kitten. But amidst the excitement and adulation, he never forgot the kindness of Mr. Bumble, the man who had seen beyond the unconventional and offered a helping hand, or rather a plump fish, to a hungry kitten with a dream. He would often visit the fish stall, not to purchase fish. He now had a small fortune in shiny coins, thanks to the generosity of the villagers, but to chat with the kindly shopkeeper, his purrs a symphony of gratitude as he rubbed against Mr. Bumble's legs. He would share stories of his day, his encounters with the village children, the baker's delicious treats, and even the blacksmith's surprising affection. One afternoon, as Whiskers was enjoying a leisurely nap in a patch of sunlight dappling the garden, a small, folded piece of paper, as delicate as a butterfly's wing, landed beside him. He awoke with a start, his emerald eyes blinking in confusion. He cautiously unfolded the paper, its crispness whispering against his paws, and saw that it was an invitation, penned in elegant script that spoke of refinement and grace. Asterisk to Mr. Whiskers, the brave and resourceful kitten, you are cordially invited to tea at the Willow Creek Manor. Date: tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Sincerely, Lady Eleanor *. Whiskers was perplexed. He had never heard of Lady Eleanor or the Willow Creek Manor. He showed the invitation to his mother, who was equally surprised, her amber eyes widening with curiosity. Lady Eleanor is the kindest woman in the village, she explained, her voice soft and gentle. She lives in the Grand Manor on the hill, a magnificent house with gardens that stretch as far as the eye can see. She's known for her love of animals, her gentle spirit, and her endless generosity. Whiskers, his curiosity piqued, decided to accept the invitation. The next day, he donned his finest bow tie, a gift from the village tailor, a vibrant red ribbon that contrasted beautifully with his black fur. With a touch of nervousness and a heart full of anticipation, he set off towards the manor, his paws carrying him up the winding path that led to the grand estate. The manor was a sight to behold, a magnificent structure that seemed to rise from the hilltop like a fairy tale castle. Its towering chimneys reached for the sky, and ivy, like a verdant tapestry, clung to its ancient walls. As Whiskers approached the imposing front door, it swung open as if by magic, revealing a stately butler with a welcoming smile and a demeanor as polished as the silver tray he held. "Mr. Whiskers, I presume?" the butler inquired, his voice a low, resonant rumble. "Lady Eleanor is expecting you." Whiskers, feeling a little overwhelmed by the grandeur of his surroundings, followed the butler through a maze of hallways adorned with paintings and tapestries, his eyes wide with wonder. He had never seen such a magnificent house before, its every corner whispering tales of history and elegance. They finally reached a cozy sitting room, bathed in the warm glow of a crackling fireplace, where a silver-haired woman with a kind smile and eyes that sparkled with intelligence sat gracefully on a plush armchair. "Welcome, Mr. Whiskers," Lady Eleanor greeted him, her voice as soothing as a gentle breeze. "I was so impressed by your story. Your resourcefulness and determination are truly remarkable. Please, do join me for tea." Whiskers, feeling a little shy but warmed by her welcoming presence, politely accepted the offer. He perched on a velvet cushion, delicately sipping catnip tea from a porcelain cup and savoring delicious fish-shaped pastries, their flaky crust and savory filling a delight to his palate. Lady Eleanor listened attentively as he recounted his adventure to the market, her eyes twinkling with amusement as he described his clever use of the stick and Mr. Bumble's generous response. As the afternoon sunlight cast long shadows across the room, painting the walls with hues of gold and amber, Lady Eleanor made a surprising offer. "Mr. Whiskers," she began, her voice gentle yet filled with sincerity, "I've been searching for a companion, a furry friend to share my days with, a creature with spirit and intelligence to brighten my life. Would you consider staying here at the manor with me?" Whiskers was taken aback. He loved his mother dearly and cherished their cozy cottage, but the idea of living in this grand house, surrounded by beauty and comfort, with the kind and compassionate Lady Eleanor as his companion, was undeniably tempting. He politely requested some time to consider her offer, his mind buzzing with the possibilities. That evening, under the soft glow of the moon, Whiskers discussed the offer with his mother. She listened patiently, her heart a mixture of joy and sadness. She would miss her son terribly, the comforting weight of him curled up beside her, his playful antics, and his affectionate purrs. But she also recognized the incredible opportunity this presented, a chance for him to experience a life beyond the village, a life filled with new experiences and endless possibilities. "It's your decision, Whiskers," she said, nuzzling him gently, her love radiating through her soft fur. "Follow your heart, my darling. It will always lead you to where you need to be." After a restless night, filled with dreams of grand libraries, endless gardens, and warm fireplaces, Whiskers made his decision. He would stay with Lady Eleanor. He knew he would miss his mother and his old life, the familiar comfort of his village and the friends he had made. But he was also excited about this new chapter, the adventures that awaited him, and the chance to explore a world beyond his wildest dreams. He returned to the manor, his heart a mixture of excitement and a tinge of sadness. Lady Eleanor welcomed him with open arms, her smile as radiant as the morning sun. Whiskers quickly settled into his new home, exploring the vast gardens with their hidden grottos and fragrant flower beds, chasing butterflies across the sprawling lawns, and curling up for naps in sun-drenched window seats overlooking the picturesque countryside. But even in his new life of luxury and comfort, Whiskers never forgot his humble beginnings, the struggles he had faced, and the kindness that had shaped his journey. He would often visit his mother in the village, sharing stories of his adventures at the manor, the grand rooms, the delicious food, and the kind lady who had welcomed him into her heart and home. And he would always make time to visit Mr. Bumble at the fish stall. Their bond strengthened by the shared memory of the day, a tiny kitten with a wooden coin stole his heart and sparked a ripple of kindness that spread through the village. Life at the manor was a delightful tapestry of new experiences for Whiskers. He roamed the vast estate with a sense of wonder, his paws treading upon plush carpets and polished wooden floors. He discovered hidden nooks and crannies, secret gardens tucked away behind towering hedges, and sun-drenched courtyards adorned with bubbling fountains. He chased squirrels up ancient oak trees, their playful chattering echoing through the branches like a lively symphony. He napped in sunbeams filtering through stained glass windows, the colorful light painting his sleek black fur with vibrant hues, transforming him into a living work of art. Lady Eleanor treated him with the utmost care and affection. He dined on gourmet cat food, a culinary symphony of flavors and textures, served in delicate porcelain dishes fit for a king. He slept in a plush velvet bed, adorned with silken pillows and a soft, downy blanket, a haven of comfort and luxury. And he had an endless supply of toys, feathered birds that chirped with enticing realism, squeaky mice that scurried across the floor with tantalizing unpredictability, and balls of yarn in every color imaginable, a rainbow of textures and entertainment. But Whiskers soon discovered that the manor held more than just luxurious comforts and endless entertainment. It was also home to a hidden treasure, a sanctuary of knowledge and imagination, a library filled with countless books, their pages whispering tales of adventure, romance, and mystery. One afternoon, while exploring the manor's labyrinthine corridors, Whiskers stumbled upon this magical place, its heavy oak door slightly ajar, inviting him to step into a world of wonder. He pushed open the door and entered a realm of enchantment. The library was a vast room, its towering bookshelves reaching towards the vaulted ceiling like ancient sentinels guarding a trove of knowledge. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and leather, a comforting aroma that spoke of history and wisdom. Sunlight streamed through the arched windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air like tiny, shimmering stars. Whiskers, mesmerized by the sight, wandered through the rows of books, his paws sinking into the plush carpet with each step. He discovered tales of daring adventurers who braved treacherous seas and uncharted territories, their exploits leaping from the pages and igniting his imagination. He encountered stories of faraway lands, exotic creatures, and cultures that sparked his curiosity. He even stumbled upon poetry, its lyrical verses painting vivid images in his mind, evoking emotions he couldn't quite name but felt deep within his feline soul. He couldn't read, of course, but he would spend hours in the library, his imagination soaring as he gazed at the illustrations, his paws tracing the elegant curves of the letters, deciphering a language he didn't understand but felt a deep connection to. The library became his sanctuary, a place where he could escape the world and lose himself in the boundless realms of imagination. One day, as Whiskers was exploring the library, his senses heightened by the quiet stillness, he noticed a movement in the shadows, a flicker of motion that caught his keen eyes. A pair of bright, inquisitive eyes blinked at him from behind a towering bookshelf, their gaze filled with curiosity and a hint of apprehension. Cautiously, he approached, his paws silent on the plush carpet, and a small, brown creature emerged from its hiding place. It was a mouse, but unlike any Whiskers had ever encountered before. This mouse wore tiny spectacles perched upon his delicate nose, their lenses magnifying his intelligent eyes. He carried a miniature book, its pages filled with tiny script, a testament to his scholarly pursuits. "Hello," the mouse squeaked, his voice barely a whisper, a gentle sound that echoed softly in the library's vastness. "I'm Mortimer. I live in the library." Whiskers, surprised but intrigued by this unexpected encounter, introduced himself, his voice a soft purr that conveyed his friendly intentions. He soon learned that Mortimer was no ordinary mouse. He was a scholar, a passionate lover of books and knowledge, his mind a treasure trove of information gleaned from countless hours spent immersed in the written word. He spent his days reading, writing, and exploring the vast collection of the Manor Library, his tiny paws turning pages with reverence and care. Whiskers and Mortimer, an unlikely pair brought together by a shared love of the library's magic, quickly formed a bond of friendship. They would spend hours together, exploring the library's hidden corners, discovering forgotten volumes tucked away in dusty shelves, and sharing stories that sparked their imaginations. Mortimer, with his gentle voice and eloquent delivery, would read aloud to Whiskers, his words bringing to life tales of adventure, wonder, and the boundless realms of human experience. Whiskers, in turn, would share his own stories, his daring trip to the market, his encounter with the kind-hearted Mr. Bumble, and his life in the village, a world of simple pleasures and heartwarming connections. Mortimer was fascinated by Whiskers' tales, his eyes wide with admiration as he listened to the kitten's exploits, his heart touched by the kindness and generosity that had shaped his journey. Their friendship blossomed, a unique bond forged in the quiet sanctuary of the library, amidst the whispering pages and the comforting scent of old books. They were an unlikely pair, a mischievous kitten with a thirst for adventure and a bookish mouse with a passion for knowledge. But their differences only strengthened their connection, their unique perspectives enriching their shared experiences. They found solace in each other's company, a mutual respect for knowledge, and a shared love of stories that transcended their species and united their souls. One evening, as they sat together by the crackling fireplace, the flames casting dancing shadows on the library walls, Mortimer turned to Whiskers, his eyes twinkling with an idea. "Whiskers," he began, his voice filled with excitement. "I have an idea. We should write your story." Whiskers was surprised, his ears perking up with curiosity. "But I can't write," he protested, his voice tinged with disappointment. "I can help you," Mortimer assured him, his voice filled with confidence. "You tell me your story, and I'll write it down. We'll capture your adventures, your struggles, your triumphs, and the kindness that has shaped your life. We'll share your story with the world." And so, they embarked on a new adventure, the creation of a book, a testament to their friendship and a celebration of the power of stories. Whiskers would recount his tales, his voice filled with emotion, his words painting vivid pictures in Mortimer's mind. Mortimer, with his meticulous handwriting and keen attention to detail, would diligently transcribe Whiskers' words, his tiny paws flying across the page, capturing the essence of the kitten's journey. They worked tirelessly, their shared passion fueling their creativity, their friendship the foundation upon which their project was built. They poured their hearts into the book, capturing the essence of Whiskers' journey, his struggles, his triumphs, and the kindness that had shaped his life. Little did they know that their book would soon become a sensation, a tale that would touch the hearts of readers far beyond the walls of Willow Creek Manor, a story that would spread its wings and soar into the world, carrying with it a message of hope, kindness, and the enduring power of friendship. But before we delve into the success of their book and the impact it has on the world, there's one more important part of Whiskers' story to tell, a chapter that brings him full circle and reveals the true meaning of his journey. The book, lovingly titled Whiskers and the Wooden Coin, was a testament to the power of friendship and the magic of storytelling. Mortimer, with his meticulous penmanship, had filled page after page with Whiskers' adventures, his tiny script flowing across the parchment like a gentle stream. He had captured the kitten's voice perfectly, his playful spirit, his unwavering determination, and his kind heart shining through every carefully crafted sentence. They had even enlisted the help of a talented squirrel residing in the manor gardens, a gifted artist with a keen eye for detail, to create charming illustrations that brought Whisker's story to life. When the book was finally complete, bound in a beautiful leather cover embossed with gold lettering, they presented it to Lady Eleanor with a mixture of pride and trepidation. She received it with a gasp of delight, her eyes sparkling with tears of joy as she turned the pages, immersing herself in the story of her beloved cat. She insisted on having the book published, sharing Whisker's tale with the world, convinced that his story held a magic that would touch the hearts of readers far and wide. And she was right. Whiskers and the Wooden Coin became an instant sensation, flying off the shelves of bookstores and captivating readers of all ages. The story of the little kitten who dared to dream big and achieve the impossible with a simple stick and a heart full of hope resonated with people from all walks of life. The book was praised for its charming characters, its gentle humor that sparkled like sunlight on water, and its heartwarming message of kindness, generosity, and the unwavering spirit of a tiny creature with a big dream. Whiskers became a literary celebrity, his name whispered in awe by children and adults alike. He received letters from fans all over the country, their words filled with admiration for his bravery, gratitude for sharing his story, and heartfelt drawings depicting his adventures. He even embarked on a book tour, accompanied by his faithful friend and scribe, Mortimer. They visited schools and libraries, where Whiskers would sit proudly beside Mortimer as the mouse, with his eloquent voice and dramatic flair, read their book aloud to eager audiences, his words painting vivid pictures in their minds. But despite the whirlwind of fame and the adulation of his fans, Whiskers remained grounded, his heart unchanged by the glitter of success. He remained the same kind, playful kitten he had always been, his spirit as bright as his emerald eyes. He never forgot his humble beginnings, the struggles he had faced, the kindness that had shaped his journey, and the love that had always surrounded him. He continued to visit his mother in the village, his heart filled with gratitude for her unwavering support and unconditional love. He would share stories of his adventures, the grand cities he had visited, the fascinating people he had met, and the joy of seeing his story come to life in the hearts of his readers. He would bring her gifts from his travels, a silken scarf, a fragrant flower, or a delicate teacup, tokens of his love and appreciation. He also remained close friends with Mr. Bumble, the man whose kindness had set his journey in motion. He would often stop by the fish stall, not to purchase fish, he now had an endless supply at the manor, but to share a friendly chat, purr of gratitude, and a moment of connection with the man who had believed in him when he was just a tiny kitten with a wooden coin and a dream. One crisp autumn day, as the leaves danced in hues of gold and crimson, Whiskers was returning from a visit to the village, his heart filled with the warmth of his mother's love and the comforting familiarity of his old home. As he approached the manor, he noticed an unusual commotion. Carriages lined the driveway, their polished wheels gleaming in the afternoon sun. Elegantly dressed guests strolled through the gardens, their laughter echoing through the crisp air. He learned that Lady Eleanor was hosting a grand ball, a celebration in honor of his book's success, a tribute to the little kitten who had captured the hearts of the nation. Whiskers, feeling a little overwhelmed by the grandeur of the occasion and the sheer number of guests, decided to slip away from the festivities. He sought refuge in the library, his favorite sanctuary, a place where he could find solace amidst the towering bookshelves and the comforting scent of old paper. As he curled up on a comfy armchair, his tail wrapped around his paws, a familiar voice startled him, a voice that held the warmth of 1,000 suns. Whiskers. He looked up and saw his mother standing in the doorway, her amber eyes shining with pride and love. She had been invited to the ball as a guest of honor, a recognition of her role in raising such a remarkable kitten, a testament to the power of a mother's love. Whiskers rushed into his mother's embrace, his heart overflowing with joy. He realized that despite the fame, the success, and the adulation of his fans, his mother's love and support were the most precious treasures he possessed, the anchors that kept him grounded and the guiding stars that illuminated his path. That night, as the manor glowed with music and laughter, The grand ballroom transformed into a whirlwind of swirling gowns and joyous conversations. Whiskers sat beside his mother, watching the festivities from a quiet corner, their bond a silent symphony of love and understanding. He felt a sense of contentment wash over him, a deep-seated happiness that stemmed from knowing that he had found success and fulfillment without ever forgetting the values that had guided him: kindness, determination, the unwavering support of his mother, and the transformative power of friendship. And so, the story of Whiskers, the kitten who bought a fish with a stick, came full circle. It was a tale of adventure, friendship, and the enduring power of kindness, a story that touched the hearts of everyone who heard it, a reminder that even the smallest creature, armed with a dream and a heart full of hope, can make a difference in the world. It was a story that whispered of destiny, of a tiny kitten who dared to dream big, and, in doing so, discovered the true meaning of friendship, love, and the magic that lies within each and every one of us.